Now, how would you further evaluate the patient and how a definitive diagnosis can be created in this particular case? You're obviously going to refer to certain baseline investigations first of all. You're going to carry out the ESRs just to exclude any kind of inflammatory activity or any kind of a viral load. An infectious basically state can be indicated by a raised ESR in the individual. So that can basically relate to an inflammatory condition particularly. Then the specific protein electrophoresis are carried out in these particular cases. As I've already told you that there are certain problems regarding the protein development, or the ribosomal activities are also affected in these particular cases, which are again leading to the development of the motor neuronal cell damage. So these can be indicated by conducting these electrophoresis in the patients. Then certain endocrinal abnormalities can also be detected. By conducting the thyroid stimulating hormones, the levels of the thyroid stimulating hormones, B12 deficiencies can sometimes lead to the motor neuronal cell damage. Calcium, parathyroid hormone levels are also looked for in these particular cases. So these are the baseline investigations just to rule out any other clinical features that are sometimes mimicking the features of the ALS, and you'd be basically excluding any kind of endocrinal abnormalities in the patient. Now, the specific tests to perform for the patients of the ALS are obviously the nerve conduction studies. The nerve conduction studies are based on the fact that you're basically putting on electrodes and you want to know what is the level of the neuronal conduction in a particular nerve. So a normal nerve, as compared to responses that arrive at recording electrode almost together, so there can be a shift that is noted down. It can be an accelerated neuronal transmission, or either it can be a decelerated neuronal transmission. As you can see, the responses that arrive at times or phase cancellation. So there can be a temporal dispersion that is noted down when you carry out the nerve conduction studies. The electrodes are put and then you basically perform the tests, and that is basically going to relate to the fact whether there is a normal conduction study or whether there is a demyelination that is noted down, or there is some sort of a damage that is occurring. Then we have electromyographies. So electromyographies are basically carried out, the electrodes are again placed, and the muscular activity is basically related to the fact that whether the muscles are responding to in a particular way or not. Whether the person, for instance, if you're checking for the biceps, then you ask the patient to flex or extend the upper limb, and if he or she is able to perform these functions in a normal manner, then obviously you can conclude that there is no muscle atrophy that is noted down in these particular individuals. In cases of ALS, basically you're focusing on the nerve conduction as well as you're focusing on the muscle atrophy. All of these are basically contributing towards the development of signs and symptoms. It's not just the nerve conduction, it is the muscle atrophy as well. So you'd be excluding that as well in these particular cases. To rule out the underlying causes, you would have the imaging techniques basically that are brought in at this level. And that is how you're basically going to know whether the patient is suffering from some kind of a spondylosis. Either there is some kind of a traumatic injury that led to the development of a motor neuronal disease, or the anterior horns are basically damaged in this particular case or not. Spondylosis and different pathological features, for instance, lumbar dysphagias, they can basically lead to the development of the damage to the motor neurons in the anterior horn, and they can be excluded when you carry out these MRIs or the CT scans That is how you're going to know the level of the damage. The spine is basically inspected in detail when you carry out these imaging techniques, and that is how you can basically exclude and include the factors that are contributing towards the development of this condition. So basically, it's a collection of the baseline investigations coupled up with the advanced techniques, for instance, the nerve conduction studies, the electromyographies, or you can also call upon for the imaging techniques. For instance, you can ask for the CT scans and the MRIs as well to conclude your diagnosis in a particular way.